Edmonton Oilers forward Milan Lucic is facing a hearing with NHL player safety for a situation that took place last night versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. In this video, we're going to discuss the situation and whether or not he should be suspended. And that's coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned last night, Milan Lucic got himself in a little bit of trouble in their Edmonton Oilers game versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, if you want to see the full play, there is going to be a link down below in the description with a clip from Sportsnet where you can actually see what had happened here. Now, earlier in this contest between the Oilers and the Tampa Bay Lightning forward and rookie Matthew Joseph had a hit against Chris Russell, defenseman of the Edmonton Oilers, that the Oilers were not too pleased with. Basically, it's a hit he kind of got away with. So Lucic was looking for retribution later in the third period here. The play was in the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Matthew Joseph had played the puck. The puck was long gone, and Lucic came up and really hit him pretty hard in an open ice hit. He was called for interference, but then afterwards he did go down, and he continued to punch him in the head, and just the referees had a really hard time prying Lucic off of Joseph. He basically kind of snapped, I guess you could say, and almost kind of started a line brawl. Pretty much all players on the ice between the Oilers and Lightning were kind of getting into it. There really wasn't a whole lot that really broke out in terms of fights or too much physical violence there, but there certainly had potential. Looked like it could turn into a line brawl type of NHL situation here, but the referees and linesmen were able to kind of keep things at bay. They did have a really difficult time prying Lucic off of Matthew Joseph here. So obviously, like I said, he's looking for some retribution for the hit on his teammate earlier in the game, kind of with that older school mentality of, kind of policing the game, having that guy on the ice to kind of look after your teammates, which really all in all isn't entirely a bad thing, but oftentimes nowadays you don't see it as much as you used to, and when you do, sometimes some of these guys go a little bit overboard and end up getting in trouble with the NHL. As we know, the NHL is real big on removing hits to the head and other types of things from the game here that kind of create a dangerous situation for some of these players. And in this case, Lucic basically, like I said, he hit Joseph pretty hard, open ice, wasn't really suspecting the hit, and then he punched him in the head, and it kind of snapped and went crazy, and it was kind of on top of him, trying to punch him as many times as he could here. So he will have a hearing this afternoon here with the NHL Player Safety Department. We'll see what happens. Of course, it is a phone hearing, so it's not going to be any more than 5 games. I really wouldn't suspect that type of incident would generate more than that for suspension anyhow. I mean, Lucic does have a bit of a history during his NHL career. However, I'm not sure any of it's really recent enough or relevant enough to really classify him as a repeat offender or anything to kind of give him a harsher sentence in this case. During Lucic's career, he's been suspended 3 times. He's been fined on 4 occasions that I could find, at least based on the history that I researched here. His last suspension came when he was still playing for the LA Kings against the Arizona Coyotes. He took a slash on the wrist. I believe it was Kevin Connaughton, defenseman for the Coyotes. And then, of course, Lucic thought his wrist was hurt really bad and ended up retaliating by, probably a matter of a few seconds later, basically sucker punching Connaughton right in the face when he wasn't even paying attention. Didn't see it coming at all. So then he got a 1-game suspension for that, and he was immediately ejected from the game as well. In this situation here with Lucic last night against Matthew Joseph, he was given a double minor. He was given 2 minutes for interference, 2 minutes for roughing, and a 10-minute misconduct as well. So obviously the NHL Player Safety Department feels like that may not be enough here. So very well it is likely going to end here with Lucic getting a suspension. I really can't see it being more than 1 or 2 games, with the fact that he's not really a repeat offender because his most recent suspension was a few years ago. A little bit different scenario, but it's sort of the same thing in a sense. I mean, if you look at that situation with the Coyotes back in January of 2016, it's the same idea. He retaliated from a play that didn't get called, and he basically lost his temper, and kind of crossed the line with what he was doing here. So obviously, as we know, Milan Lucic does have a bit of a bad temper. Sometimes it serves him well, and other times like this, it's going to get him in trouble with the NHL. Now, again, like I said, based on an old school hockey mentality, having a guy on the ice like Lucic who can kind of police the situation and protect his teammates, I'm certainly not opposed to having a guy, do that type of thing within the guidelines and protect your teammates. He could have went about things a little bit differently and really tried to get some clean hits on him instead of going too far and letting himself snap like this and ended up getting himself in trouble. But really, the way he's been playing with the Oilers, in my opinion, is not really going to hurt them a whole lot having him sit out. Really, since last year and this year, he's really struggled to produce a whole heck of a lot offensively. He's not the same player he used to be. So I understand he's trying to find ways to contribute and help the club and kind of, keep his value in some capacity there with the Oilers. But at the same time, he did cross the line here and likely will face a 1 or 2 game suspension. So, of course, as always, I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section. What do you think of the situation here between Matthew Joseph and Milan Lucic last night? So, did Lucic cross the line here? And if so, what do you think the NHL is going to hand down for a suspension? As always, if you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So, if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.